wouldn't be real life if it wasn't no technical difficulties. It's not all, it's never real. It's not always smooth ever. So we go with the flow. Keep it pushing. See if I can get Dre back in here.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right, how do I sound now?
Yeah, that's good. That's good. It's probably my phone.
Yeah, like I said, it wouldn't be real life if it wasn't
Yeah,
problems.
right.
It gotta have some problems. But
Hmm.
so we talked about we was at where was we at? We were saying the steps to get your place in the big box stores. We was
Yeah.
going down. We oh, I was talking about how we was going down asking for you at the where was that at? Was that ShopRite? I think that was ShopRite near us at the time. We was going in asking for you at ShopRite. And so I guess talk to the likes of, I know you talked about like the followers and the likes and how that doesn't necessarily translate to being in a big box store, but talk about the importance of like building a brand. Uh, talk about the importance of building a brand to get into the store. Like I know it may have some effect or doesn't, but how can you, let's say this, okay, it may not necessarily turn into sales day one, but talk about the importance of building a brand and building that notoriety as you continue to grow.
Yeah, yeah. So you it's just like any company, you have to reinvest into the brand. You have to push it. So for example, so when I went to the stores, I had to do a lot of marketing promotion. I spent a lot of money getting on the SEPTA bus, our public transportation. I paid a lot of money for that. I paid, had people sample. At the time, my wife now, but at my time, my girlfriend, she made she is that's another story. But my wife, or at the time my girlfriend, she was sampling. So you had to do a lot of sample. You had to be in front of the customer, because we just don't have that. When it comes to small businesses or black and brown business, we always underfunded. People, a lot of bankers or a lot of investors don't look like us when we going into the bank. So they don't understand our product or our customer base like we do. So we always underfunded. So again, I sold real estate. I had to sell some of my real estate. I had to jump into, and that's another story. I had to jump into some cash that I had set away for kids down, kids that I didn't even have. So you just had to keep being in front of the customer. You had to continue to market. You had to continue to advertise. You have to because we just don't have that budget to go against, say, Hers potato chips or whoever the big brands that we see, Tide or whatever the case may be. So one of the things I had to do is stay in front of the customer. I wasn't even on social media at the time, or I just started social media, but I wasn't even, social media is cool, but I'm I always look at it as, what if social media wasn't here? So I still go back to those traditional, as well as the different marketing and platforms today. But I had to grind and be in front of the customer, and continue to be in front of the customer for them to get to know me. And once they get to know me and love the product, they'll tell somebody. Because, for example, when I got into the supermarket, I'm listen, ain't nothing new under the sun, but I changed the game a little bit, just on the simple fact with the competitors. I changed the game because the supermarket told me. So, for example, I don't have the Talenti or Ben and Jerry's or the Haagen Dazs budget, but we working on something right now. I can't. I might jump into that before we get off, but they told me that due to my numbers and due to how I was moving and how I was moving product, you can tell how other people's sales. You can do from their UPCs. You can tell how much units they sell. And so, for example, they started putting their product on sale. So what was it, like two for? You might get 10 Talenti for what, $3.99 or $2.99, or whatever the case, and get three for whatever. They were just doing major crazy sales. And the store manager or the owner of the store was like, yo, Haagen-Dazs haven't put their product on sale in 10 years. He
Mm.
said they watching you. He's like, they watching you. Like literally, he's like, yo, they see how you moving. And even though you a dot on a large paper, like they really don't see you, but they see you. Like, and that's one thing I learned about business. Like when you doing business, you may be nowhere near the so-called competitor. Even you don't even think they compare. So like Honda is not my competitor. I'm just not the one on that level. I'm not even going to front. But they're not going to let me get on their level. You feel what I'm saying? So we you just we just changed the game. So just not having that budget, we just had to move different and just continue to be in front of the consumer. Every day in every store, we had to go to we was in 100 stores. We'd go to every store and just move the product like you would on a corner. You had to move the product.
So it's two things there. The first thing I I wanted to really kind of talk about is, so you said the getting into the bigger stores, it can kind of your margins can be a little bit skewed. And I know you're saying, like, I think the number we used was 50 cent. Can you talk about the allure of why people, or talk about why it's important to kind of have both lanes, like to be direct to consumer and maybe venture out to like wholesaling, and then talk about some of the obstacles that you faced when trying to be in the big box stores in terms of volume and production.
Okay. All right. So that was like three questions. I'm trying to remember them all. But all right. So the first one, when it comes to a lot of people like to be in a big box store because it sounds good, it looks good, it makes you official. You know what I mean? You be like, Mama, we made it. You know what I mean? And that's no disrespect for those that want to be in there, but I'm just saying you have to, like you said, know both lanes: direct to consumer, the big box stores, and whatever else lane that's out there. You know, don't look down upon the direct to consumer or selling from the trunk or whatever the case may be. So when you go into the big box stores, your margins are slimmer, I should say. It's fractional of what you would if you were selling directed to the consumer, because you had to take your product and sell it to, say, the end user, the grocery store, at a certain price, because they had to make a certain amount of money. So that you have to know your numbers. It cost me, say, whatever the product is, $1.50 to make the product, or it cost me $2.59 to make the product. I want 35% margin, so that'll probably, what, 259, 35% margin. I think that's like 398 or some shit. I don't know. So whatever. Um, so yeah, you had to know your numbers, how much it costs to make the product, and how much you need to mark it up to your end user for a certain return on your product. But when you sell it to the supermarket, they buying at a fraction of price because they had to buy at a price that they can sell it to the end user, which is their customer. So a store is not, if your product. So it's a lot of people want to get into the stores, but they're not able to buy the raw material at a cost, volume wise, to get it down to be attracted to the end user. So for example, say you whatever, ice cream, right? You bash ice cream company, you got a couple machines or whatever the case may be, you have a small freezer, blah 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 blah, and it costs you say whatever, two something to make the product. But you can't go to the supermarket and sell it to them at $4 at a wholesale price, or $3 at a wholesale price, and then because they got to sell it at a markup of 35%. And supermarkets have low margins, on a goods. So then they will have to mark it up a couple dollars. But now you at $8, $9. Now people buy pints of ice cream for $8, $9, $10, but your customer base may not pay that. So if you're going into, say, Acme or ShopRite or whatever, the basic supermarket, and that people that shop there is at a different tax bracket, and you're not going into Whole Foods or Wegmans or whatever the case may be, people that shop at whatever, what I just say, Whole Foods would pay $8, $9 for that product. So you have to know your numbers, and you have to be able to manufacture your product at scale to the point where you can sell it to your wholesaler at a price that they make money. So if you can't mass produce your product at a point where is attractive to your wholesaler or your vendor, there's no point of going into your big box store. But if you're selling direct to consumer, they willing to pay for that, because it's people that will buy my product at $8, $9 direct to consumer. But I'm not going to be able to sell it to my vendor at $3, $4 and then ask them to sell it to that customer at $8 or $9. It's not going to work, because they know who their customers are. That's why I said before, you need to know who your customers are and then target your big box stores that you want to go into. Because when you go into these stores, they be like, yo, we see that you're moving units, but we can't move these units at this price to these customers. That's not what they looking to pay for. So you need to know your numbers, the manufacturer, your cost of goods. You need to know what your direct to consumer prices have to be. You need to know what your wholesale price to your vendor is going to be. If you don't know that, your vendor is going to take advantage of you. And if you're making 50 cent, 25 cent, 11 cent per unit to your vendor, that's cool. But if you're in 50 stores, that's not a lot of money. 11 cent per pint per sale is cool if I'm in 30,000 stores. So imagine me selling one pint at 11 cent, 25 cent, 30,000 pints a day, one pint per store, and that's 30,000 stores. That's good money. But we ain't there yet. So we working on changing the game when it comes to that. But when you go into these big box stores, any wholesale buyer, it has to be a win-win situation for both parties. You know what I mean? So you can't go into the store and try to sell your barbecue sauce at $4 or $5 unless you at that type of store and had those type of customers. Because I can get Bobby Ray's or Bubba Ray, whatever his name is, Bobby something, for 99 cents. Or I can get that store, what do you call it, a knockoff brand for 99 cents. You know what I mean? So you need to know who your customer base is and what store you need to present when you're trying to get into that big box store.
I think that's like me and my sister talk about all the time. Businesses, a lot of where they go wrong is they don't know who their consumer is. They have no idea. They think, okay, I'm gonna put this product out there and it's hot because I like it. My family going to wear it. My friends going to support it, and so that's my business. And then turn around, they're like, yo, why is this not moving? Or I mean, they have no plan or have no idea of who their actual consumer is. What is your consumer's behaviors? Where do they shop at? What do they like to do? What type of habits do they have? Things of that nature. So you could really build an avatar of who your consumer is. You know, like you said, you know exactly everything about your consumer. You know how to appeal to your consumer. You know what your consumer can afford. And so I like to call that reverse prospecting, in terms of, like, you know, just reverse engineering exactly who it is that I'm looking for. So talk to me about the obstacles, some of the obstacles that you face in dealing with the big box, because I think there's such an allure to it, right? I think, like you said, everybody has that "mama, you made it" type of feeling in terms of wanting to deal with the stores, but don't really see the ins and outs of really what it's like to deal with some of those situations.
Woo, man, woo! I don't know where to start. Dang. I could write a book about this joint.
I'm expecting you to, just by the way.
Jeez. Oh man. All right, so let me see. All right, boom. So listen, when you go into a store, say a supermarket, whatever, Target, Walmart, Walgreens, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Whole Foods. Listen, you might be popping on the gram. You may be making money. You may be one of these people with the Bentleys behind you when you do your little videos on Instagram. It really may be you. You understand? So when you go in these stores, they don't care how popping you are. They have a business too. They don't want them shelves to be empty. You hear me? So if you moving product when that shelf get empty, it's cool. It looks good because it's moving product. Like, damn, the product is sold. But they needed to be on the shelf again, because they losing money when somebody wrote something.
We'll get to it when we wrap up.
So you need your product always need to be stocked on the shelf. you can be, I don't care who you are. If the product is moving and it's in the shelf stay empty, they will replace you. You understand? They will replace you. They don't care who you are. The store has to make money. So if you in a store, they don't want to care that you small, that somebody didn't show up to work the third shift. They don't want to hear all that your truck broke down. Listen, they need the shelf need to stay stocked. That's one. Um, so yeah, you that's a gem. Like keep the product stocked. Let me see. Um, Quality control. You don't have good. Your product is looking sloppy. Um, they will replace you because there's hundreds of thousands of other people that want to take your spot. Know who you doing business with. You know, getting on these shelves ain't cheap. Just to have a slot, maybe 2 or 3 slots, it costs 200 grand easy, easy. So you had to realize that when you next to Pepsi or Frito-Lay or whatever, Doritos, whatever the case may be, they want them spots too. So they pay big money for those spots. So you need to make sure your product it stands alone when it comes to packaging. You know, your product has to be neat on the shelf. Again, so go back to who you dealing with. So some brands, they have someone to stock their product. So you need to know, is the store going to stock your product or you going to stock the product? And you need to know your business in and out, because they will walk all over you and they will get rid of you. You would be, and some people say blackball. Trust me. Other stores talk, and they all, you know, in associations, so they be like, yo, stay away from this brand. So understand their business as well, because when you going in there and stock the shelf, they don't want you going in there and treating their location or their business as if it's yours. Like you just renting freezer space. You understand? I had distribution problems. Man, one time I lost $7,500 worth of product. I'm still trying to fight the case. You feel me? I had a freezer truck go down. Lost $7,500 worth of product. Not once, but twice.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So you know, you have to make sure you have the proper freezer, storage place. Have the proper storage facility. The temperatures is right. Have your distribute. I lost money on distribution, distributing the product myself. Um, Meet and store standards when it comes to what's the word I want to use? It's slipping my mind right, but a lot of stores want you to have, and you should know this before you go in them, before they just pop up when it comes to audit. So some stores want you to be audited. You have to use their people. So you need to know, are you going to audit me, or are you going to, or I have to have a certain license, or are you going to do, are you going to come check my facility out, or are you going to my production facility? I seen companies try to push me out the store and then bring their product in that is just like mine. So I seen, like I said, it's like the record business. I've never been in it, but from hearing other rappers is much similar. So go back to being audited. So some stores want you to be audited. You know what I mean? So they want you to use their people. So you dealing with Walmart and they send their auditor your way and you got to pay for it. But Walmart is $1 billion company. So how much you think they auditor costs?
Mm.
Do you know 6 months from now or a year from now, if you're in Walmart, Target, or whoever, and they want you to get audited, you have to use their people. Do you is that in your projections of how many pints of water ice or ice cream that you have to sell to break even, plus have money to meet whatever expenses that you had to put out to be in their store? You understand? So you may have local licenses that you have to get to have your facility up and running in that city or state. But when you cross, you know, state lines or dealing with different big box brands, and I dealt with a lot of them, not just Walmart and Target. I'm just, they just, popular ones that rolled off the tongue. They may want you to meet certain criterias and certain have certain licenses or qualifications, and you have to be you would like to know, you want to know these things, so you know how much money that it's going to cost for you to get your product on them shelves.
So it's no. I don't know. Maybe there is, but I don't know about it. There's no, I think, like education or anything like behind this stuff. Like in terms of like what I could just think of off the top of my head. For somebody who wants to, learn some of the criteria, where is a good place for them to get information? How does somebody start outside of the course, right? Because we know we're gonna push the course hard.
Oh
Your
yeah, yeah,
course,
yeah. What's the course?
it's crazy because wifey's on here now. My cousin on here now. I literally was. I don't know if it was last month or the month before, but I literally was just in her DM like, yo, like, how many people need this? Y'all need to do a course, right? And she's like, oh, we working on it. And I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
make
she on my
sure.
ass. She don't play. She on me.
We
She on
should.
me.
We're gonna have to. I'm gonna have to go there too. We're gonna have to talk about some of the balance in terms of being like an entrepreneur and a family man, because you had a big change in the last couple of years in terms of your family, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah. I have three children. One is with the ancestors, of course. And then I have a 1 year old, and on the 13th I will have a 5 month old. It's definitely, ooh, it's crazy. We always bumping heads, we always arguing, but then we kiss and make up. But it's definitely hard. Um, but I'm loving it because we got some things coming down the pipeline. My son is 1.5. He about to be 2 by next season start, and he gonna be on the road with me. If my son can't come or my family can't come with me, then we can't do business. You heard? So if my son can't be in the board meeting when we having and signing paperwork or having discussions, then we can't do business. Your money ain't good over here. You know what I mean? So it's definitely that's another topic. It's definitely, as you know, it can be real challenging at times.
Yeah, it certainly is challenging, especially because we don't have no blueprint for this stuff. Like,
No.
there's nobody that comes and says, "Yo, son, this is how I did it coming up.
Mhm.
Yo, this is how I brought you through the game. So this is how you can do it." We all are doing this for the first times, and I think having that standard, setting that bar to say, "Yo, if I can't do it like this, I'll go elsewhere." Like, I think
Right.
that just it goes back to that same mentality to say, "Yo, if you won't, somebody else will, because this is what's planned for me." So I
Hmm.
think that's super dope. But I think as far as like balance and like family life, like, so I'm trying to think of a way to word this question. So when you are going into a marriage, a relationship with a significant other, how do y'all come together and put family, business, and then relationship or relation? Like, how does that balance? How do you keep that balance intentionally?
Mm. All right. So my phone about to die. So listen, the first thing is, if how can I say this? I think I remember the question. From right off the bat, my wife is my biggest asset, to be honest with you, and I think that's going to be in every relationship or marriage. Your partner is going to be your biggest asset. And she's probably going to take you and your business to a level, or he or she going to take your business to a level that you didn't have planned. You understand? And I'm not saying that because is your cousin or whatever, but my wife is my biggest asset. And that's something that I always pray for, and I always thank the ancestors for making sure that that I marry a woman such as the women that I have in my life through my ancestors and my aunts and my grandparents or whatever the case may be. So somebody that's not in a relationship, or that's in a relationship and not married, and you about to start a business, you need to let them know off the bat. You heard? You need to let them know off the bat. And that's what I did in every relationship that I was in. Because my lifestyle has not changed since. My life has changed, but when I met my wife, I told her where I was at in my life and what it's going to be. So when you get in a relationship, be like, yo, or you in a relationship, be like, yo, babe, I know I'm the breadwinner, or whatever you do with the bills. I'm about to start a business. I'm a plan for the next 6 months. Um, I'm a plan for the next 6 months to have money to cover the bills for a year. Then the rest of the money I'm putting aside is going to go towards the business, right? So, and let them know what the change is going to be prior to you going into your business. So you can be like, yo, we going to movies on Tuesday. That's when it's $5. I'm not buying popcorn. We buying it from Walmart and we sneaking it in. You know what I mean? We're not going to the bar. I'm not doing whatever. So you need to know what the life, you need to know, let them know what the lifestyle going to be. You understand? And how is it going to be rough? Like, yo, you're going to have to cover the bills. You might have to cover all the bills. You feel me? Or whatever the case may be. Are you willing to hold me? Are you going to hold me down during this time or not? If she's not going to hold you down, you need to move out. Or he's not going to hold you down, you need to move out. You understand? So when you get into the thick of things, and I can tell you a story when I was down to nothing. When I say nothing, I had nothing. And I can get in that story later if you want. But when the shit hits the fan, and that person that you thought was going to support you said they was going to support you and they don't, then that's your easy way out before you get married. It's like, yo, you're not supporting me now and I'm down. But if I was up, you would want them Birkin bags or whatever these bags are. So I'm down right now. I need you to hold you down. And I'm gonna ride this business out until I can't ride it no more. So if they're not going to support you during that time, that's your time to exit the building. You feel me? And if you're going into marriage, you about to get married, you already married. It's the same, sit down, have that concept. Sit down, have that conversation about how things is going to look once we start this business or once I start this business. But your wife or your husband or the male or the female is going to be should be your biggest supporter and should have your back regardless of what it is. And like I said, my wife is my biggest asset.
Yeah, and what's been dope to see with y'all is that I think with the industry being unfamiliar to her, just y'all connection and y'all love together has transformed her to even now having a level of comfortability and being uncomfortable and learning new shit, like going to apply for grants and things of that. So you've been able to kind of mold from relationship to even like partnership and all of those things. Like I think that's one of the factors that it sends us. It's what keeps us as a culture where we're at. It's that level of communication, being able to be open and say, yo, this is what it is. This is how it's going to change. I respect that a lot about you because a lot of people are not going to keep it 100. A lot of people are going to sell you the dream on, yo, it's about to be da 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 da. But when it's not, you don't know how to prepare for it because these conversations were not had. So like, I think that's super dope. That's a big gem for any alpha males that are in this this live, and any alpha females. Y'all, we gotta know that, yo, putting it out on Front Street is how you show that you're alpha. Putting it out and saying, yo, it could be this, and be prepared. Now, granted, I love you, but if you decide that you don't want to be a part of this, then I get it. And I think, like, tell me what you think about this. Let's say that you don't, because I was having this conversation with my sister and one of our friends the other day. If your significant other is not going to work in your business, talk about the importance of that ride or die. Like you said, you were down to nothing and got a chance to test that. Tell us about that. Like, expand a little bit about that support and that level of that person being your number one supporter, your number one cheerleader.
Yeah, so even if she don't work in the business or she got her own thing and it's just hard for her to, help you anyway. And she don't have to work in the business, but the support, because like it's going to be times when it comes to entrepreneurship and you have $1 million loan, or it could be a $30,000 loan. It depends. You may never even had that much money, and you could be down to the last $1,000, and you thought that the $30,000 will help your business a certain way, or you might have a hiccup, you might have a loss, or whatever the case may be. Damn, I remember a couple losses I had, but as I think about it, but you just need somebody to come home to and cry on her shoulder or his shoulder. Like, that could be all the support you need. Like, you might not be able to, like, say you working your 9 to 5 to keep the bills running, or you running your business to keep the lights on, whatever the case may be, or you home with the children. So I'm able to go out there and work, or whatever the case may be. Just sometimes, like, having the shoulder to cry on, or somebody to hear your problems, even if you don't make no sense, you just need somebody to talk to. You can't afford a bottle of wine, so you need somebody to talk to. So that level of just being there, I'm telling you, somebody to not be in your ear. I told you shouldn't have started this business. I told you shouldn't have worked with this person. I told you shouldn't have did this. You don't realize how how much that'll hurt an individual. And sometimes it'll drive people, but at the time it's like, yo, I just came before, I just lost 1,500. I just did a day, made $13. You know what I'm saying? I went to visit 100 stores and got no sales. I don't need you to first thing I come in the house and be like, why didn't you bring groceries? They're like, yo, like you don't need this. So sometimes just listen to me when I have my woes or whatever is all the support I need. So, but yeah, that answers that part.
Yeah, that it's crazy that you even bring that up because I know a lot of men we come from this society where like for somehow it's somehow gotten twisted that a man shouldn't show emotion, that a man shouldn't do this, and it's like yo, like or this makes you weak. If you do X, Y, and Z, you're not a real man, or if you show this type of emotion, you're not a real man. And I can honestly say, yo, if it wasn't for my lady, there's been times, especially like I don't, like a lot of people don't know, but for a long time I commuted like an hour and a half to work. So I'm commuting an hour and a half to and commuting an hour and a half from. And being in sales, it's just like being an entrepreneur. So like you said, some of those days you're gonna have wins and some of those days gonna be losses. But if you get home from a day that's a loss, like you said, you don't need somebody that's in your ear, oh, why you ain't do this, or why you ain't do that, or you didn't do this, you didn't do that. Like sometimes you just need that person that's gonna be like, oh, how was your day? Like just simply as asking like, yo, like how was your day? Like genuinely wanting to know like how they could provide support. You know, I think that's like a major like key. And talk about like as an entrepreneur, like what's as a male provider, what is the exchange? Like obviously we're doing these things to provide for our family, but how do you support, how do you in being an entrepreneur and being that alpha support your woman to where the stuff that she's given up in terms of that sacrifice that is paying off, and not just paying off in terms of the vision, but paying off in terms of the right now.
Oh, that's a good one. You saying basically how is it?
What's the exchange like? Because you know it's always an exchange. Every interaction is exchange. So when you get the support, she's giving you the support. Naturally we gotta return something. So talk to me specifically about some of the things or some of the ways that you can return or show that appreciation as a man, because I think a lot of times we get away from that too as entrepreneurial men. We got so much stuff on our plate. We dealing with so much different things, you know, business, consumers, systems, process, that lady sometimes, that lover, that companion sometimes can be left out. So how do you balance, you know, making sure that she knows that you're very important and to this thing that we built and this legacy that we built.
Yeah. I don't read between lines very well. So I always tell her and told her, you know, many years ago, tell me what you want, like, and or tell me how I should move in when it comes to certain things, and I'll do it. Sometimes I drop the ball, but right now it's basically long as she tells me, all right, I'm gonna give up this, or I'm gonna help you with this and that, but this is what I need in return. And that's it. And I got to make sure I give that in return. Like I make sure I give my customer a certain product or whatever the case may be. Just like I put my customer first or move a certain way with my business. I have to, you know, treat her the same way. Cause I think different. So I don't, she's not a customer, but to keep for me to process a certain way, I'll look at her as she's a business or she's an
that's your investment. That's your investment.
That's the only way. That's the only way I can. It registers in my brain. So she told me like, yo, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, but this is what I need in return. I need a date night once a month or once a week. We need to say go on a car ride by ourselves without the kids or whatever the case may be. As long as I give that, I'm out the doghouse. That's what I get. Now it's time to go on. I'm gonna have to probably give up more because, you know, I'm not going to sacrifice a certain amount for 30, 40 years. And I think that's selfish if even if I thought that way, that's selfish on my part. But, you know, as we grow and as we learn each other, this is what I want in return. So just on a simple fact of the classes, she a beast with it. I was like, yo, man, people, you know, it's me. I'm just giving away the game. I'm giving away the game. It's, you know what I mean? I'm not charging people. but people coming in the DM or stopping become it was coming a bit much, and it was taken away from her time, and it was taken away from the kids' time, or whatever the case may be. And so she said, so for me to be satisfied with X, Y, and Z, you're gonna have to start charging these people because it's taken into my time. So I can stop answering the DM and give her more time, or still give her the time she wants, but charge people, and she's happy with that. You know what I mean? Not charge people just to get money, but is the customer
Because
or is my wife? And I'm not
you can't rob Peter. You know what I mean? You can't rob her. If you're taking her
exactly.
time, she want to know that you get that for my time to be taken away. He better be getting something in return. It better not just
Exactly.
be doing it for the fuck of it. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
now I can definitely appreciate that. And it's funny because she always been like that. But
Yeah, I didn't realize how much of a hustler she was until I got deep into this thing, man.
she always been somebody to tell you exactly what you need to, exactly how she is thinking, right? Exactly what's on her mind. It's not going to be, she's not going to hold too much tongues with that. It's funny, as we got older, we got a lot closer, but like literally we used to bump heads so much because she has a little bit of she has some alpha in her. So like she
Mm-hmm.
wants to be, she's the oldest, so she knows how to naturally be a leader. So
Mm-hmm.
it's funny. I got so many. She laughing in the comments. I got so many stories, but we had to talk about them off the camera. But
Okay, okay.
so the course to me, the reason why that's so big is because anybody who's watching this who follow me knows like I have this buzzword. My buzzword is vertical integration. So the reason why I love the course, especially for you, is because I know that it's a problem. I know
Mm-hmm.
that's a problem that definitely needs solving. I know that there's a lot of people who have good products, who have created something that there's a market for, but really don't know how to get it to that next level. And you have been through that to say, yo, here, I'm gonna give you everything I know, but let me kind of tie this back into what I'm doing to make it part of my business. So what other ways are you vertically integrating or connecting different businesses to expand the one that you have? Because I know you started off in ice cream and water ice, but then I seen, food truck. I think y'all was selling like hot dogs, pretzels. So talk about some of those, how you're bringing some other aspects to the business to grow it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, I'm trying not to give away too much that I'm,
Don't don't
still
don't
working
don't
on. But
don't,
yeah,
don't
yeah.
yeah, don't give it off.
So we going to do the merch. So we gonna have the classes. We gonna have come out with some merch. We Man, what else we got? The classes. We got some merch. So yeah, we do. We have the truck. We have some kiosks that's coming out. We have some push carts. We have the tent set up, the promotional tent set up. So we got a lot of partnerships as well. So for example, we basically doing right. We kind of started a little early. What I mean by early, I wanted to start this program like 2 years from now because we about to hit our 10-year anniversary within the next 3 years, I think it is. So my next 3 to 5 year plan, I ain't gonna really go too deep in that. I'm trying to keep that secret. But so one of the, a couple of the vertical integration we have is we doing um um like a brand partnership. Like you see like rap snacks at the rappers or whatever. So we basically gonna be doing that with ice cream and with the water ice prepackaged type stuff. So we talking to some big stores, some big um artists, not just like rappers and R&B or musicians, but even when it comes over to the entertainment business of actors and actresses and athletes and stuff like that. So we have a list of individuals that we've been in contact with that we're gonna do this brand partnership with. We did one this summer, late summer, but we want relaunch it. 2021 is with the D4M mango lemonade. So we're gonna have some brand partnerships with that. We in talks with some big box stores that we're gonna be rolling some things out that we have strong relationships with. That we gotta get some things in place on our end. So we locked in these relationships that it's not like we got to do it tomorrow. And we doing, to add to that, we got some other partnerships with those stores, not just on putting the product on the shelf. We got other partnerships or collabs when it comes to these big box stores, and so forth like that. So we got some things rolling out in the next 3 to 5 years. That's I'm not gonna say we gonna be the first at it, but we definitely gonna put our spin to it and be a game changer. Um, we got an entertainment part coming to it, to the business. Maybe like a documentary and some other things. So we got some things that is gonna propel the company throughout the country. So we basically, taking this from the East Coast or the tri-state area over to throughout the whole country on different partnerships and branches of the company. So to make a long story short, we got the food truck, which or the ice cream truck. We have two of those. Sure, I could tell a story about that too. So we got two of those. Um, we have two promotional tents, 10 by 20. We have six push carts, which we have an entrepreneur program. So we have with the push carts, we take those to festivals and stuff that we do, but we also have an entrepreneur program that we start for the youth, so they be able to rent our push carts and start their own little business. So we got that part, and probably end of 2021, if things go right with the numbers and everything, or how we got things projected, we're gonna probably buy three more trucks, and I gotta keep the rest secret.
So the reason why I wanted to touch on it is because as a lot of people who are watching the live, everybody hears that, oh, millionaires have an average of 7 streams of income. And so why I wanted to highlight that is because people need to understand that don't mean you got to jump into 7 different things, right? Seven
Yeah, so I
different
was just about to talk on that. Yeah, I was about to
you know what I
touch
mean?
on that.
To me, like I love what you're doing, like in terms of circling it and bringing it all together. Like that to me is how when you get to an impasse in your business and you feel like, dang, how do I take it to the next level? That's really how you take it to the next level. Solve your own problem. If you're having a problem in your business, you solve it with another business that propels that, and that ultimately is give you that integration to where now you got those several different income streams.
Yeah,
You'll have income stream from the courses. You'll have income stream from your wholesales. You'll have income stream from your direct to consumer. You'll have income from the events that you do. You already right there. That's 4 streams. You already more than halfway to your 7. It's like at that point, the millionaire
yeah,
status is just a couple of steps away. It's
yeah.
already envisioned. You know what I mean? So that's why I like to
Mm-hmm.
highlight on that. And then I know I kept you on here. This is probably like one of the longest interviews that I did. I want to wrap it up, but I do want to also talk about the name of the podcast. Obviously, is Problem Solvers Get Paid. So talk to talk to the people about that slogan, why it, what you feel about it, how you connect with it, or talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean that's probably one of the best slogans I've seen in a while, if not the best one. And it's not that it's just catchy, it's truth. Look at any business or any entrepreneur, any billionaire, millionaire, any business. What do? They come into business by solving the problem or making something easy for the consumer. Like you can't get no better than that. I mean, you can't. I mean, that's the probably the mindset you need to have when you come into business. Like, what problem am I solving? Because if I can solve a problem, I get paid. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to real estate, you solving the problem. You provide houses for somebody. You get paid. When you start a business, you solving the problem for the government. When you do housing, you do when you start a business, and why the government give us so many tax breaks, because you solving the problem that they can't solve. That's by giving people jobs, providing housing. What they I'm gonna say they fail to do, but they just can't do it as fast as they want to, or whatever the case may be. So when it comes to real estate, you solving the problem. When it comes to a car, whatever the case may be, you solving the problem. When 5 years from now, you want to have a car that do the work for you. You want to take it work, but you may not want to drive. You want to fall asleep when you drive, whatever the case may be. So I mean, is God damn, that's a great slogan, because if you come in business and you not solving the problem, it's probably not going to work. Point blank.
That's
Period.
and that's honestly what it's crazy. Bro, I can't really even tell you like what made like what how I really like stumbled upon it one day. But one day I was just like, yo, that sounds kind of catchy. I'm using that, and I ran with it. But like literally, the more and more I kept thinking about it, it's like, yo, like just like you said, that's literally the basis of every business. And
Yeah.
if it's not a business now, but it's a problem, then it's opportunity for it to be a business. So
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of the mantra. And outside of money, what are some of the other ways that you get paid for solving the problems? What is another form of payment that you get from the success that you have in your business?
Mm. Gee, that's a good. You might have to run that by me again. Mm. So you're saying other forms of getting paid through my business without
So yeah,
being
so
currency?
so so maybe it's not anything material. Maybe it's not money, but maybe it's I don't know, providing like, for example, okay, I give you an example that I had that's outside of money. When I remember when I first got into the car business, right? I probably was in now probably 2.5 years at this point. So I had an Ultima. I traded the Ultima in, and I bought a Lexus. So I pull up to the gas station. Young boy comes up to me, says, yo, man, what kind of drugs do you sell? And so my mind right off rip, I ain't gonna say offended, but I was caught off guard because I'm like, yo, hold on. Why do I have to sell drugs to be able to afford this car? Why you think that I gotta sell drugs? So my payment at that point in time was the fact that I was able to take the young boy and have a 5-minute conversation with him and say, yo, actually I sell cars. And yo, you don't need no high school diploma for this. These are the things that you need to do in order for you to be on this type of path. And so my payment there was being able to pass the information, pass the knowledge to the young fellow who now may see the world in a different light because I wasn't a drug dealer. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't live that lifestyle or had something that he thought you had to live. So I'm asking you is what other ways do you get fulfillment out of being an entrepreneur? How else is it satisfying you?
For me, it's just giving back. So and giving back to 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 my community, giving back to all people, not just kids, but adults, teenagers, young kids, and that's part of one of my prayers. I ask God to use me. You know what I mean? That's a part of my prayer to ask God to use me to make me um, um, what's the prayer? I asked him to make me more about his business. And what I mean by that is, um, I get to talk, like I said, I get to talk to the kids. So for example, when I talk to kids about entrepreneurship, like I said, I'm an 80s baby, 90s baby. So I grew up around the crack and the coke epidemic. Um, so my next door neighbor is one of the largest drug dealers in West Philly, if not the city of Philadelphia. So I tell these kids, they listen to a lot of rap or whatever. The dope game is just like entrepreneurship. So once I can break it down to them, I have their attention. So I like you can be and success is not always money, but if that's what you're looking at right now, so I'm gonna come at you that way. So you don't have to be a ball player. You don't have to be, and that's football, basketball, baseball. You don't have to be a ball player, and you don't have to sell dope to get out the hood, which I love the hood. But whatever, for you to make it and have the things that you want in life and go to places, you don't have to do those things. So I teach them entrepreneurship. I get to talk to them and teach them about entrepreneurship, and use the dope game as a base. So, for example, the drug dealer, he got a product, and to go back to proof of concept, he get a product, he cook it up, and then what do? He put it out on the streets. He get customers. They come back, they bring him customers. He sell them to them at a discount. So the local drug addict tell him what he like or what he don't like about the product. He tweak it a little bit or whatever the case may be. And what he do? He go to a corner, he lock that corner down. So once you lock that corner down, that's like you starting a store. You understand? You starting a store. So now you may go into to wholesaling. So you might get a couple birds. Well, you got a long way for that, but once you get a couple birds, you sell them birds to other people so they can get their own core. That's wholesale. So that's what you do to. You might start out with a couple 8 balls, selling 8 balls to people. So that's your supermarket. You understand? So when you go from one corner to the next corner, that's your second store. And then you get the other corner, that's your third store. And then you got workers. They are your employees, the people that's hustling and bring you the money back on the pack. They your employees. You understand? Then you branch out and you expand. You go to another neighborhood or you go a couple blocks away. That's the same thing on business. You understand? And once I break it down to the dope game, is just like entrepreneurship. They see that you can make just as much money and if not more, and don't have to worry about somebody killing you or your homie killing you, plus your op killing you, plus the cop killing you, plus going to jail and had to do the whole thing over. Now you got to worry about, the guy from whatever, the blood over here, the crip over here, the gorilla stone over here. So now you're going to jail, and then you got problems with beefing people in jail. So now you can make money. Don't worry about getting killed. You get some tax benefits. You know what I'm saying? And it's stressful, but not as stressful. So I like, entrepreneur give me the opportunity to be with the youth and try to sway them away from what they see on the news and what they see on TV every day. That you don't have to be a rapper, you don't have to be a ball player, and you don't have to twerk on Instagram and do all that stuff on YouTube to make money. There's ways. Legal money is long and is steady, and it'll pay off. It definitely pays off in the long run. The dope game is pretty short, and everybody don't make it to the NBA. You understand? That I ain't gonna say you can't make it, but bruh, it's hard.
Right.
Trust me. Everybody and their grandson is playing basketball. You know what I mean? So let's be, try to, not to shut your dream down, but you have to have, let's be a little realistic here.
See, the one thing I can appreciate is how candid you are about using that example, the dope game, as that eye-opening thing, because I don't care what anybody says, right? At the end of the day, you have, in terms of communication, you have to be able to communicate with people on a level that they understand. If your message is important, if you really want your message to be heard, you got to be able to bring it down to a level to where your crowd, that target market, that target of people will understand it. So I love that you're candid about saying, yo, let me give you that. Let me break it down to you in a way that I know you'll understand, so that on the flip side, this is what I'm talking about. And then, so it's not like I'm talking over your head. So I love that. I think that that's why we have guys like Tupac. And as crazy as this sound, I even think that same, I won't say it's a lane in terms of, I won't say it's them not being who they are, because I'm not sure. I don't know these celebrities, but like when I look at like a Tupac, who to me like had visually, if you watch his career from beginning to the end, had visually a couple of different personalities and personas. I think that's the same concept in terms of reaching that target and using something that was identifiable and relatable to reach that target. So I think that's really like key in terms of getting that message out there, like really like broadcasting that message. I think that's super dope. We got 14 people. I want to let you get off here. I know wifey's probably ready to enjoy the night, but I do want to give this opportunity. We got 14 people in the live, and I do want to give y'all an opportunity to ask Andre some questions. So from this podcast, as we wrap up, we talked about products, getting your products into the next level, how you start a brand, some of the key factors in starting a brand. We talked about a range of different things, but this is definitely a great opportunity to ask questions and leverage a lot of the ups, the downs, and the roller coaster ride that Andre has gone through to build his business. We did have a couple of questions. Let me see if I could even tab back to ask some of them. This live. So I had one that got missed because we had to get off the live, but let me see. So I see one that says, how do you handle distribution would you use a big distributor like UNFI or local DSD? I don't know. You probably know what that means. I have no clue.
So I think I did see that one. So did that person say on large or small? Like,
It said, would you use a big distributor like UNFI or local DSD? It don't say big or small. It just says that.
um, it varies. But I would, I have. Um, yeah. Just yeah, I would, yeah.
Let's
And
see.
one thing that I'm doing, I give a gem is getting distributors in different sections of the country. So for example, say you want to send a package, say to California, you got to do the dry ice and all that stuff, and if the customer may or may not want to pay, that overnight or that 2 day shipping. So you want to do overnight, that could be, that could be pretty hell of expensive. You talking about getting over to the West Coast, you know what I'm saying? So another thing you can get, distributors on different regions of the country or as closest to your target customer as possible. So when they order, it'll go from, so say I do a lot of business in the Carolinas as well as Atlanta and Tennessee. So I have I'm working on a new distributor or a place where will take my fulfillments and ship them to those countries. So it's, I mean, not those countries, those states that's not as expensive if it came from Philadelphia. But I think that person who sent that, I think they in New Jersey. So we can, I know that, I think I follow that person. So we can tap into that and more in detail at a later date. But yeah, they cool.
And it's not launched yet, but if you got questions, obviously Dre has the course coming up, and it sounds like he's still doing.
Better get in before
Yeah.
before they launch.
So so lock in. Make sure y'all follow his page. Look out for the merch. I didn't even get a chance to touch on the merch and the logo, but the thing that I definitely want to leave y'all with before we jump over here is the thing that I like a lot about the merch and the logo is it's so authentic. Like the logo just looks like so, I don't like, original to me. Like I just feel like it's very original. Like it's very you. Like it says like, yo, this is that homemade. This is that home style. So like I was
Mhm.
telling my intern today, hey Lauren, his information is on my page. Is I posted earlier today with all his information. So I think definitely you could tap in. It's something that you would find a lot of value in. So that's another cousin of mine. She's a chef. She's a beast chef. She wants to get into like a cooking truck and stuff like that. So maybe y'all could tap in. But
Yeah,
I
I
love.
definitely got store. I lost 50 racks on a truck, so I'm definitely willing to help people. I'm definitely that's one thing about the course, man. I'm trying to keep people from bleeding where I already bled, and like I said, I got story for days. Like I said, man, I'm climbing back from a $50,000 hole. You know what I mean? So I made that mistake. Don't give all the contractors money at one time, and for some reason that ain't carry over to get my truck fabricated. So like I said, that's a story, and yeah, I'll take care of. I'll look out for her.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So if y'all got any questions, please use this time. Like I always say, man, the whole point of why I do this live and do it on Facebook is to give people an opportunity to leverage his experience. It's not too many times that you're going to be able to come somewhere for free and have access to ask a question to get your business or to get some insight from somebody who's been through it. So definitely, if you're on this live, take the opportunity to ask questions. Like we said, he got the course coming, the merch is coming. Jump on all of his socials, his platforms, find out where you could get his water ice, his ice cream. I can tell y'all straight up when he talked about samples and he talks about his lady being a prime sampler. I don't know if she was telling him, but that shit was all coming to my house. I done had sweet potatoes, brownie. I done had all the ice creams. They all amazing, and I'm not no cap. They all the ice creams is all banging. He got also, I think I seen on the page for my CBD lovers and marijuana enthusiasts. We got some CBD infused water ice. I mean, literally different products. He's a hustler. He shoots. So like I said, take your opportunity to lock in with him. And if you don't have any questions, I'm gonna let him go. And like I said, I just wanted to give y'all that opportunity. So I'm gonna give it like one more minute before I let them go. Oh, here she go. When y'all working together? Oh, it's look, man, it's crazy because there's so many people that's like bucket list people for me that I'm like, yo, of my circle of the people who I actually know and could touch, these are the people who I want to do business with. And if I'm not going to be bold enough to pull my list out, but I have a list. I have a list of people. And the crazy of where I got this from a friend of mine who really takes writing his goals down and writing some of his visions. I got that from him. So you on my list of short list of people who I say, yo, there's synergy there. I definitely want to figure out how we could do business together. So, hey, I'm still young. He's still young. We both new fathers. We got a lot of energy, and so I'm sure that all connect, man. It's just one of those things that it's inevitable. You know what I mean? It's inevitable. It don't sound like nobody got no questions, bro. I'm gonna let you slide out of here. And like I said, I really appreciate you. This is like I said, it's probably the longest live that I've done. I love the fact that it's in another industry. I love what you brought to the table in terms of that persistence and that tenacity. Keep it up, and obviously, if you need anything from me, I'm not but a text or phone call away. And for everybody watching this, make sure y'all support the brand, support the merch. Problem Solvers Get Paid merch is out right now. Everything is online. And we doing it like that. So y'all will hopefully join me for another week next week for episode 13. But until then, make sure y'all share this shit with all your friends, share it with all your family, and we're gonna get out of here. God bless.
All right, man. Peace. Thanks for having me.
All right, bro.
Yep.
Okay. We back. Episode 12. Can't believe it's already been 12 episodes. That's crazy. Yeah, so that's 3 months, man. We've been going at this for 3 months. The same goal, just to continue to bring value. Tonight we got a special guest, man. The guest tonight, real go-getter. It's super dope because they're in a lane by themselves. There's so many people, obviously, that we know do real estate, do stocks, do different industries that I say is more well known. But tonight we got somebody who is a little different. Let me see if I can. Might be a little new to this.
Sent the request. But yeah, so tonight we got Andre Andrews, founder, CEO of Dre's Water Ice.
Turn this way. What? How you do this thing, man? I don't know.
You
turn it sideways.
if you turn, they gonna see you sideways. If you turn it sideways, you gotta turn it the other way.
Turn it this way.
Yeah, turn it that way. What's going on, boss man?
Not much, man. How are you?
I can't complain. We just down here trying to make it do what it do.
As you should.
So I was just giving a quick rundown on your company and how you're in a different lane, and that's one of the reasons why, obviously, because we have a history, but right. One of the things that I really like about what it is that you do with your business is it's in a lane that's by itself. It's not too many young Black entrepreneurs you could look up and say, oh yeah, they had their own product. And built their own brand off of that. So I think this is definitely one of those episodes for me that's just going to be super impactful. I think it's going to shine a light on a different way to get it. So I appreciate you taking the time to do this.
Thanks for having me. I truly appreciate it, man.
Yeah, So for those who don't know you, can you give us a quick background on yourself and your company?
Okay. Yeah, so again, thanks for having me on your show. My name is Andre Andrews. I'm the owner of Dre's Water Ice and Ice Cream out here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We based on the west side, West Philly, but we go all over the city and throughout the East Coast, up and down southeast, basically throughout the southeast, and do major events like that. But we have a water ice brand and we have an ice cream brand. Some cities are familiar with Italian ice, but here in Philly we call it water ice. Ours is made a little bit different than other cities like New York City and say New Jersey and other places throughout the country. We specialize in small batch ice cream. So you can find us in supermarkets with the pint size ice cream, as well as Walmart, which is in Georgia, North Carolina, Tennessee, and I believe South Carolina. So it's like 4 states or whatever. So yeah, that's pretty brief.
So I think we got to unpack. A lot of people are going to want to figure out is, yo, how did you get to ice cream and water ice? What was it that you was like, you know what? That's my lane. I'm attacking this.
Phew, man. So how far you want to go back? Because
I
didn't
want to
plan
go.
this. It wasn't planned.
I want to go. I want to go to the beginning because again, like I think so many people when they say, "Oh yeah, I'm about to start a business," or I'm about to try to really attack this wealth stuff. I gotta get in real
Mhm.
estate, or I gotta do it this way. Like talk about like how you got to this lane particularly.
To this lane. So all right, I'm gonna go way back. So I'm basically 38. I'm at the bottom half of the 30s, touching 40. So back my eighth grade graduation. I don't know, a couple years apart, but in my day, I say we used to get graduation books. Your family or friends assigned to give you some money and all that stuff. So prior to the eighth grade graduation, I used to save up all my money. I'm very frugal. My bar mitzvah money, parents give me money to go to the store. I might save 50 cents, spend 50 cents, hit my aunts up, hit my. So I'm always saving up money, make a long story short. So when eighth grade came around, I got a lot of money, whatever the case may be. And so yeah, I calculated everything up, the money I had prior to eighth grade money. And me and my dad will always talk about stocks, businesses, or whatever. So he owned a laundromat, and my cousin, my older cousin, who I call my big brother, he owns the Five Spot in Brooklyn, New York. He's an entrepreneur as well, and at the time he selling T-shirts and clothes out the trunk of the car, whatever the case may be. So at a young age, I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I just didn't know which lane I was going to get into. So I used to always read the New York Times, the stock market. This is when you had to look it up in the paper or go to the library. So, and I was always watching CNBC, CNN, and all those type channels. And then episode came on about this kid getting into the stock market, like eighth grade, making like 8 years old, making all this money. So he's 8. I'm in eighth grade or graduating eighth grade, about to go to high school. I'm already, studying, and he's making money. I'm like, yo, I got to jump in the lane. So, back in the day, before it was all these brokers like TD Trade or whatever these different broker houses are, you could just go downtown. So I went downtown to a financial institution. I think it was called Delaware Financial or Delaware something, and this is when you can purchase stocks over the counter. They call them over the counter, pink sheets or whatever the case may be. So I purchased a couple shares of different stocks. And I guess throughout the summer, my name must have got in the system. So by the time ninth grade started, ended up getting a credit card. So it was a $400 credit card, and it was with, actually I think I have it in my dresser. I think it was Mutual something. I think they still around, Northwest Mutual or something like that, or Mutual something. I think they merged or something, whatever the case may be. So I ended up getting a credit card. So once ninth grade came around, I started selling candy. So, the first half of the school year, I did my schoolwork, got familiar with the high school, whatever the case may be. But, once it came back from Christmas break, I started selling candy. So I started off with a box of Starburst, the yellow pack, the original. So, I went through that. Then I copped some more candy. So I just kept, reing up. So I did that throughout ninth grade, probably all the way up until the first half of 12th grade, and they shut me down. I think I was the principal called me to the office and said I was taken from the athletic department that was selling, candy for uniforms and stuff like that. So they shut me down And at the same time they shut me down, I end up getting I end up getting in trouble for possession of a weapon going through the metal detectors. And it was it was right after the Christmas break, and I'm like, what's up with these metal detectors? So I go through the drain, I didn't even realize it. So I get caught up with that, and almost got expelled from high school my 12th grade year. And so I didn't apply for any college. I applied for colleges, but I didn't keep up with the work. Cause I was, in the process of getting expelled from school. It wasn't, the least thing on my mind was, um, going to a 4-year university. So once that cleared out, I was back in school. I finished my 12th grade year. Got a couple letters to some college in reference to baseball. So I went away to baseball. Starting that freshman year, the money that I had from that stock, because I ended up getting money to play ball. So I didn't get a full ride, but majority of, the money they gave me it covered majority of my expenses. So I ended up selling those stocks that I had, and I look back today, I would probably have been pretty wealthy if I kept these stocks. So, I was always doubling up, reinvesting the money. So I took that money, I ended up buying a duplex. So I purchased a duplex. I went away. I stayed here local for 2 years, and I went away for 2 years. So once I graduated in '06. So '06, I ended up getting a job. Was with Lincoln Financial, bottom level accountant job, entry level. And my church was going to South Africa for a mission trip. And I'm a big fan of Nelson Mandela. I was like, yo, I gotta go. He's like, I don't know about this. I was there at the time that I found out they were going, it was, I just got the job. So it was in the summertime and they was leaving in September. So, the days like, you on probation. You can't go nowhere. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm like, so when can I go? They got these, like, basically you got to check in. You got to do, I think, like 90 days or whatever. I'm like, all right, I'm doing the math. I think I'm at like 89. I literally was like in 80 something. I was like, yo, I can go though, right? You really gonna make me wait 90? So they're like, yeah, you gotta wait 90 days. We don't know if we're gonna keep you or not, whatever the case may be. But I was like, okay, cool. So I ended up just going. I didn't say I probably resigned or whatever the word. I mean, I wasn't there long enough, I guess, to say resign. But I told them I'm going on a trip, and I understand if I'm unable to, if you don't want me to return. So I don't even think I went back, to be honest with you. I don't even remember. I don't even think I went back. So I ended up going to South Africa for a mission trip with my church. So on the way back, I had a list of businesses, barbershop, hair salon, all that stuff. And on there I had, water ice. So I was like, all right, bet, that's the one I'm passionate about. And, if you're going to start a business, you definitely had to be passionate about it. So, so I come back home. I sell the duplex. Why did I do that? I don't know. So I sold the duplex. And plus I had some money that I had saved up from over the years, and just some money I had saved up, and plus the money from the duplex. And I basically, so I circle water ice. I said, yo, I'm going to the water ice business, which is really, I was like, I'm passionate about it. And I'm like, this is Philadelphia. If you can't make it selling water ice, then, something wrong with your product or something wrong with you. But once I got in the business, I found out it wasn't that easy, of course. So I sold the duplex plus the money I already had saved up, and I just, invested in myself. And, I just took what I learned from my cousin and from my dad, in their entrepreneur endeavors, and here we are.
So you touched on a couple of things I really want to dive in on, to at least tap into. So you said that your dad owned a laundromat growing up. So talk about like how that, seeing that example, having that example kind of molded you into, having that mindset of being entrepreneurial. Because even when you got to like with the job, right, how you was able to just say, yo, like, nah, I'm going on this trip. Like,
Right.
there's no way I'm about to let you like stop me. Talk about the influence that growing up around entrepreneur had on you.
Yeah, it was a big influence, just on the simple fact that, seeing my dad, as well as other entrepreneurs, it's not easy work, but it's some type of, it's just something about entrepreneurship that I love, that I gravitate gravitated towards, and just seeing how my dad had to maneuver certain things for certain things to work. You had to be on time, you had to have a certain product. And that's what I was fascinated by, how you know, I don't worship money, but I like how you could put in $1 and get 5 back. So I like how he will go to the wholesaler, get the detergent that he was selling to the customers. So I like how to see, like, yo, you get the detergent, you buy it for, $1.50, you sell it to him for, $5 or whatever the case. I like how, the I guess the entrepreneur thing, or how the money part of running the business operate was working. It was just like, I like how you put in something, you get something back on from the work that you put in. You understand? So when, not to knock a 9 to 5, but no matter how much work you put in, you don't put in, you're gonna get that same check. Unless maybe the car salesman, or you work off of sales or whatever, which is something similar. So if you don't go to work, or you don't sell, you don't push, you don't eat. And that's what I liked about entrepreneurship, and seeing my dad. Like, if he didn't do certain things, he got a certain outcome. He did certain things, he got a certain outcome. So that's what I was addicted to, and I was in love with when it came to entrepreneurship.
Nah, that's dope. And that mentality, like, that you eat what you kill type mentality, is the reason why, like, a 9 to 5, I don't know if it will ever suit me. Like, it's always, especially like for me myself, I always have worked in a place where, like, commission. Like, my first real job was in the car sales business. Granted, I worked as a teen, I worked at the car wash, and that was cool. I was a teenager. At that point, I was like, I like to work a lot, because I thought that meant you was like a grinder. But then I had got to sales, right? And it was like, yo, you only gonna get what you sell. You only gonna make what you sell. And so that kind of like made me a different type of like animal, in terms of like wanting to see that production, see the result of that work that you talk about. So is there any jobs or any experiences that you had growing up that you said, okay, this experience really built me, or helped prepare me for some of the things that I'm going to face in entrepreneurship?
No, not really. Be honest, I never really had a job. Be honest, besides, because they just, graduated school, you're like, oh, I'm supposed to get a job. Knowing that I was going into entrepreneurship anyway, I was like, I'm just going through the motions. You know what I mean? Just to, I don't want to wake up and my parents keep looking at, I got to do something. So I'm building the plan. I'm like, all right, I'm going to work. Sometimes I really didn't have a job. Actually, I felt like, I applied for the job, but I didn't know they was going to call me back. I mean, I don't even know if I ever sent them my transcript. I really don't know how I got the job, because I was just going through the motions, to be honest with you. But no, I never had a job or something, or something that was suitable to a career or anything like that. Because I was always on my grind. I knew it wasn't going to work out anyway. Like I said, I started early selling pencils. I'll sell you a rock. I'll rent you my big wheel. I was getting it early. I was getting it early from the curb. I'll get it from the curb, or from the hallways, we say. I might went over some people's heads, but I got it. I used to get it early. I wasn't 9 to 5 was never in my future plans.
No, and it's crazy, because I think a lot of people stumble upon that later on. Like, you go through the motions, you get all the way, like for example, just going off the American dream, right? American dream say, just like you said, you go to high school, you graduate high school, then you go to college, then you get a job, then people is working 5, 10, 15 years and figure out, yo, I don't want to be an employee. Yo, like, I want to own my own stuff. So, like, you being able to have that foresight from a young age, it had to give you a significant advantage now, to where you, like, because you always been getting it, you always kind of you grew up in that adverse environment, right? So, like, being an entrepreneur from day one, even with the pencils, even when they shut your first business down, right? They shut the candy down, you had to figure out some other way, some other pivot. And so you talked about how you had the duplex and you sold it. Can you talk to me? I know you said you don't know why you did it, but can you talk to me a little bit about knowing when to pivot, and why somebody will make a move like that? I know you said you wanted to, like, bet on yourself, but what kind of things led up to that decision to say, yo, you know what, I'm going all in on this particular opportunity?
Well, one thing, I sold the duplex and the stocks because the money that How can I say that? I sold the duplex and the stocks because I didn't want to go into debt. Like I used to see people like, yo, how you come out of undergrad owing 86,000, 100,000, 50,000, 30,000. I just couldn't find the logic behind it. And I understand, people were, and I was young and immature at the time, but I know people had come from different backgrounds. Their parents may not have no money at all. They might have literally been in the financial situation. The only way for them to graduate or get to the next level or to the American dream, they had to take out these loans for them to go to college. They just had no other way. So no disrespect to them, but I signed it. I sold the duplexes. I just didn't want to go into debt. And no disrespect to white folks or to the university. I was like, yo, you're not getting me in this trap, you heard? So I sold the duplex, and I was really dumb because I went to the what you call it, the bursar's office or whatever it's called, and I just dropped the bag on the counter. She was like, well, what is this? I'm like, yo, I owe you $7,000 or 7,800. Here you go. She's like, no, we don't take cash. You got to do a check and all this stuff. So I was like, okay. So I had to go back, take the money back to the bank. They had to give me, I think, a cashier check or something like that. But I just dropped the bag on them. I was like, yo, at the time, people like to buy and hold, but I'm always flipping my money. I'm always putting it into the street. So I never looked at, oh, if I sell this duplex, it might be worth, 30 grand, 30 years from now, it might be worth $500,000, whatever the case may be. Cause I know I'm smart. I'm a hustler. I know I can always flip dough. So it's not like I'm not that kind of person. If I go flat, that I'm gonna commit suicide. I know I'm an earner. I'm gonna get the money. If you give me $1, I'm gonna turn it to 5. I might get a job. I might turn that $1,500, check into 10 and 10. I'm just gonna be there for a couple months. So I never was scared of getting rid of assets to make me more money or to go on trips or take care of whatever business I had to take care of at the time. So I paid for my college tuition. And the other assets that I sold to go into the business, I knew I was going to make money off of this, and I could always buy real estate. Real estate ain't going nowhere. You know what I mean? It's always going to be land. It's always going to be a move for me to make, and I'm always going to be willing, able to pivot and make $1. That was nothing. I'm an '80s baby. I seen people make money out of. Seen a lot of people sell a lot of things to make money. You know what I'm saying? So I just know I have a hustler spirit, and I was never going to, be scared to make money. Money was never foreign to me. So I knew I was always going to get it. So I wasn't worrying about getting more assets later on down the line.
I think that mentality is like so important that to have that confidence in yourself, it really allows you to take like the risk that you need to take. I think a lot of people, and you could maybe expand on this a little bit more, but I think a lot of people is like, yo, like, oh, but what if this don't work out? Or what if this, what if that? Like, talk about the importance, because it's obvious, it's clear that you got the mentality that you're willing to gamble on yourself. I love my sister in the comments on, she loved your energy. It's so funny because I don't know if it's something about Philly or what, but a lot of people from Philly just, and especially playing ball, like that's like an energy. Like it's like that you must get that coming out of Philly. Like some people get that energy, like Deion Waiters, like yo, like nah, like I've been around. Like
I'm like a little bit too. You talking about that's the twin dudes, right?
No. You talking about the twins. Everybody always say that too. Everybody say, oh, you the other Morris twin, and it's crazy because we are the same age. So like. I grew up playing against them, and I tell everybody, and if it get back to them, I just remember when they wasn't that good, bro. I remember when the Twins wasn't that good. I think they turned 17, and next thing you know, they was like pros. But anyway, off topic. But Deion Waiters always talk about bet. What he say? Double down and bet on myself. Like I know at the end of the day, I'm going to be able to make it happen. So like, talk about how you built that mindset and that mentality, because I think that's a big hurdle that people have, is why they don't make it to that next level.
Yeah, some people are their biggest enemy. You know what I mean? Some people, a lot of people don't realize, you may not realize, but some people are scared of success. That's the hurt. Sometimes people think that they're scared that they're going to fail. And I don't know what failure is. I don't know how to spell it. I don't know how to define it. I don't know where it's at in the dictionary. I don't know nothing about failure. If somebody asks me where did you fail at, I don't know. I never failed in life. And people might think that's crazy, But I don't know what failure is. To me, I never failed because everything I wanted to do, I did it. Now I might have sold a house, I might have bought a house and didn't buy it at the right number, whatever the case may be, but I still purchased the house. You know what I mean? So I don't know what failure is. I don't have to define it, but a lot of people, as I talk to people, you know, jump in the DM or in person, whenever I see them, a lot of people don't realize that they scared of success. A lot of people don't. A lot of people know. A lot of things come with success, and a lot of things come when you take that big loan out, or you know, or you invest your own money, or whatever the case may be. But a lot of people are scared of success. That's the biggest hurdle. Is success. Like, what if I do blow up? And everybody call me like, yeah, I want to be on every podcast. I want to be on every news station. I want 30 stores throughout the country. And then, you know, something coming like, boom, oh, shoot. That bank gave me 50 grand. That bank gave me 300 grand. And people like, yo, how am I manage 300 grand? It's no different than 3,000. It's just a couple more zeros. If you can manage 100,000, you can manage $1 million. It's just a couple commas and a couple more zeros. But I think this people are scared of success, and but for me to just, you know, just do things, sometimes I plan them out, some things I just jump and do it. Is my thing is I don't want to die. I don't want to leave this earth and go see the ancestors or whatever the case may be and be like, yo, why you didn't take that shot? And I think I did a video on that. It's like, if you drop the ball, pick that shit up and keep it moving. Get the rebound, pick it up, shoot it again. You know what I mean? So I don't want to be that person at 50, 60 years old, like, damn, I wish I had purchased this property in this neighborhood. I wish I went to this country for vacation, or I wish I would have started this business. I wish I'd have, you know, purchased this stock. I can't live like that. It'd drive me crazy. So I say I'd rather do it and find out that it wasn't a lane for me. It wasn't meant for me to be in this lane, than not do it at all and be like, what if? You know what I mean? I can't live like that. Nah, I can't do that.
I tell them, man, it be my thing. Like, and you know, and for everybody who doesn't, let me just clear the air, because I know y'all probably thinking like, yo, it's a lot of, you know, why they sound so familiar and why they talking. So me and Dre are actually, we like related by marriage, even if that wasn't the case. We didn't talk so many times where our energies, we're really aligned on our energy. But Dre is married to my first cousin. So as far as like seeing some of this stuff evolve, I don't got a chance to really see it kind of up close. But man, that kind of drew me off my point. I'll come back to it. But as far as so we talk about people being scared of success. Talk about a little bit. Talk to me about what you feel like is the reason why. Like, because in my mind, I think that some people are comfortable creating barriers for themselves, right? Because we talk about not being scared of success. Some people are comfortable saying, you know what? Nah, this thing is stopping me. It's because of this as to why I can't make it. Like, talk about why you feel like that's a thing. Like, why do people do that? You know, how do we change that narrative? How do we get people to come out of that, to get a little bit more comfortable with being uncomfortable?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think, you know, again, I think people are their biggest enemy. They create that monster in their head that it can't be done. You know what I mean? So they get comfortable with that check, like, oh, I can't leave my job. You know, I have kids, I have a mortgage, or whatever the case may be. But don't they just don't break it down, or they don't plan. Like, if you plan, and all plans don't go to normal. Like, you can plan to fight Mike Tyson, but till he punch you in the face, it's just a whole different ball game once you get into that, you know, that canvas square. So, you know, I just think, you know, people need to get out their own way and get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Because if you think about it, your job, you know, people always get laid off around this time, and they talking about, oh, I got security with my job. No, you don't. No, you don't. During a recession or not, you know, this is when people get laid off, and you think about it, they lay you off around the time you spend the most money. You spend all your money November, December, and then them bills come in January, February, and that's when they lay you off. And they don't even tell you they lay you off, but when you want to lay them off, you got to let them weeks in advance. You know, it just like, so how you not want to bet on yourself when your employer don't even have enough respect to let you know that he gonna fire you in 2 weeks? around the holiday season or before your daughter's birthday. You know what I mean? So I was like, you just got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable and take that risk. You can always go get a 9 to 5. Everybody gonna need an employee. Everybody's gonna. It's always gonna be jobs out there. You know what I mean? So you have to you just have to do it. But again, I don't move like that. So it's kind of hard for me to answer that one.
Right,
I
right.
don't
No,
see
I
why.
feel you. It's like you when you get, I like to call it the programming. Like you're programmed to be on go. It's not no,
Mm-hmm.
oh, let me think about this. Like you somebody that's going to be like, nah, I'm gonna try it and then let's see how it works. Either I'm gonna keep going or it's just not for me. But I'm gonna try it first. At the end of the
Mm-hmm.
day, I'm about to see, what's going on with this. So that's a mentality, that's a mindset that you're programmed to have, and a lot of people don't have it. But I think having these conversations and seeing that it becomes normal. It's not something that I don't think it's specific to you. I don't think it's specific to me. I don't think it's specific to anybody who I know that is successful. I think it's a common denominator. Everybody who I know that is really moving, and some of us is here, some of us is here, some of us is here, but that progression is there no matter what level you're at. And all the people who I know is really on that type of time, they all got that mentality. It's like, yo, I'd much rather get started and figure out how to tweak than to not ever
Yeah.
start at all. You know what I mean? So definitely props to you for that. And what I was going to say was, I lost my train of thought. What I was going to say was, you got the same mentality as me in terms of just keep getting shots on the rim. Like you said, like, yo, all you have to do is keep shooting. At the end of the day, a lot of these billionaires, a lot of these mega wealthy people, they be mega wealthy and mega rich off of one idea. They done
Yes.
tried 10, 15, 20 ideas, but only one of them hit. And now they sitting up with they legs back and feet up and doing all that stuff. So what other
Yeah.
businesses outside of, because I really want to dive into the I really want to dive into the water ice and how you break into bringing a product. I want to dive into there next. But what other businesses experiences have you done? So I heard a little bit about real estate. We know we're about to dive in to the water ice and the ice cream. Is there anything in between that we missing that you said, no, let me just.
Yeah, so I do so yeah, we I do the let me see, I do the ice cream, I do the water ice, of course the real estate. I have a couple lots, still real estate, but I'm gonna get into probably some new construction, probably within next maybe 2 years or so. I got I got another job. I guess I could drop it, but I'm working on, like I said, I got a couple real estate holdings that I had, plus some money tucked away. But I'm working on fuck it. I could curse, my bad. I'm
You
working
could
on
curse. You fine.
I got
It's
some
good.
money set aside. I'm gonna sell some assets, and we probably gonna go into a hotel partnership. So me and my wife, we got we talking to some people. And I'm not big on talking about things until the ink dries and the lawyers dotted all the I's and crossed all the T. But I throw it out in the atmosphere, and what's for me, whatever's for me, God's gonna make sure I get. So but yeah, we're gonna definitely go into the hotel hospitality business. Part of our, I guess, portfolio or hotel, real estate portfolio, whatever you want to call it. But that's going to be part of our portfolio is going into the hotel business. Yeah.
Yo, it's crazy that you say that, bro, because literally every time I go and stay anywhere, anytime I go and stay anywhere, especially one of those nice hotels where it's designed real nice, I'm like, yo, we gotta do this, dog. We gotta get into this. Like, just some of the stuff that you see, like in terms of convenience and luxury that people would appreciate, and then the design aspect, I'm like, yo, I really want to test them waters. Okay, so damn, you got some shit on up your sleeve too. I see you over there.
I
Yeah.
got a lot of stuff tucked under my sleeve, man.
Okay.
I'm about to unload the clip. I'm gonna unload the
Hey,
clip, and I'm like, God damn, where this come from? So
my
yeah. I got
man.
a lot of things up my sleeve, man.
That's what I like to hear, and the reason why I like it is, again, it just kind of goes to show you that hustler spirit, like that hustler spirit to keep moving, keep reinventing yourself, keep doing new shit. It's like it's like listening to my favorite Hove John when he said, you know, thinking Hove would sell clothing in his lifetime wasn't in my right mind. Like just doing like different shit. Like, yo, it's no boundaries on what it is that you can accomplish. Like I love how you said, like, yo, what God has planned for me, nobody can stop. Like I'm gonna get it regardless. God, nobody can stop what God has planned for me. And I think that's like so like vital. That I think that helps like build that risk tolerance to know like, yo, like I jump off the cliff. I'm cool. Like I got my security right here behind me. So that's super dope. So now I want to get into, because this is the real reason why I brought you here. Like it's so many people, and it's not just about the food industry, right? But it's so many people that have products that I think they're doing it right in terms of now, right? In terms of COVID, in terms of 2021. I think that, you know, going to the digital space, I think a lot of them are doing that right, but I don't think a lot of people are seeing the bigger picture to like mass production, mass produce. So I want you to kind of dive into the first steps to take a product from my garage, my basement, to being in a large retailer.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just weirdly touching because we actually about to
I
my
know.
DM my
I
DMs my DMs before and my wife is on me if and she a beast, man. My wife is a beast, man. I thought I was a hustler and I was a go-getter, but she don't play. So you know, the DMs is getting full. You know, the people stopping us when we go out, you know, well, we used to go out to, you know, Cheesecake Factory, stopping us and stuff. So, I just can't keep up with the DMs so more. So I'm eventually I'm doing some classes probably come 2021 in reference to, you know, getting to big box stores as well as, the ins and outs of starting a food truck. So, but the first thing you need to do is just create the product, man. Just, you know, whatever it is, I don't know, whatever you make she calling me, yeah, you make whatever, I don't, you make hot dogs or whatever the case may be. You got a new sausage out that you make or whatever, boom. So you had to, you before you go anywhere or approach anybody to, you know, be in the store or, you know, buying your stuff wholesale, whatever the case may be, you have to create a proof of concept. And basically what that means is on a low level, you know, not getting too detailed with it. You know what they say, I teach you that in my class. You have to create the product and put it on the street. You understand? So I'm an 80s baby. I'm a, you know, 80s, early 90s baby. So the people out there that's, you know, from that age, you know, you get that product, what do? They give it to the fiend and give him a couple samples for free. What do? He bring you more customers, right? So you bag the product up, you give it to some people for free or at a lower price. You know, friends, family, the barbershop, people at your job. You don't have to tell them that you make it. Tell them, you know, your girlfriend is potluck week or whatever they call it at job. I've never had one, whatever. You take it there, take them your banana pudding. Tell them your girlfriend made it, and get the feedback. You get the feedback. You know, you be like, all right, this is good. This is what I like about the banana pudding. This is what I don't like. This is how you should tweak it. You know what I mean? So basically create a proof of concept and make sure people want the product. And once you figure out people want the product, you figure out who your target customers are. And once you find out how your target customers are, you be able to, you know, you can price it around that. But you also want to price your product due to the cost of goods sold and the proper margins and the proper markup. But once you get that and find out who your target customers are, and you backed up your product and you created a proof of concept, you have to now you have to do the numbers. Now you have to get a customer base. And I'm not talking about followers. Don't get caught up with the followers and the likes, you understand? Because your followers and your likes don't always add up to dollars and cents. You understand? Your followers and your likes don't add up to the bottom line. You know what I mean? The difference between followers and likes and a couple of people that support you, you know, that bottom line is totally different ball game. And that's, you know, for financial terms, that's, you know, basically your, you know, profit and loss, you know, your net, you know, when it comes to, you know, your gross revenues and stuff like that. So once you find out who your target customers are, you got the price are, and you create a customer base or a fan base or whatever you want to call it. Now you can shop to the big box stores, but you have to have those numbers. Now followers and likes do play a part, but you have to show how those likes and followers turn into dollars. Now, if they don't turn into dollars, don't even mention it. But when you go to these big box stores, before you even pick which big box store you want to go into or store you want to go in, it could be the local bodega, whatever the case may be. You have to make sure that the customer, your target customer, go to that store. So you can't go to Target and try to get into Target if your customers don't shop at Target. They shop at Walmart. They shop at whatever the case may be. You know, my wife did a shop. I don't know. But they don't shop at Target. So why go to Target? Because if you go to Target, the customer's not going there because the price points are different. You understand? So the customer's not going there. It's just not going to work out. So you need to know, you need to have baggage your product and find out where your customers shop at and target those stores, target those buyers for those stores, which I get into my class. But anyway, and that's basically what you do. But a lot of people want to be, they look at success as Walmart, Acme, or Kroger, or Publix and all those supermarkets where you can basically sometimes create your own market by having your own website. Sometimes you're gonna make more money on your own site than you're gonna do at the store. Sometimes them stores are cool. It gives you more what do you call it? It makes you
visibility.
I don't know. It gives you a little popularity. You know, people, oh shoot, he in this store. Yeah, that's all good and dandy, but sometimes you can make more money at the local bodega. You can make more money at the local supermarkets in your neighborhood or the mom and pop shops. You understand? Because you can go into supermarkets and go into stores, but you don't start making that wholesale money until you in thousands and thousands of stores. You know what I'm saying? If you in 50 stores or 100 stores or 200 stores, and you know you wholesaling it and getting 50 cents, which is good per wholesale, whatever, per unit. But if you only need 100 doing 100 a week, that's okay. But you don't make that wholesale money until you in thousands and thousands of stores. So you also have to look at it from that angle too. Like, what's my numbers when I'm going to selling to the to the local franchise supermarket or selling it on my own platform. So don't get caught up in the big box stores when you can sell your own product on your own platform.
So that's one thing that you have done. One thing that you have done that I really, really liked, even though that you were in the big box, like the bigger stores. Like, I remember when you first were attempting to do that.
I can't hear you that good. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
No, I can't hear that good.
Hold on, let me see.
Is it better?
No. But go ahead, don't worry about it. I'll figure it out. I don't know if
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you a little bit, but I'll make it work. It's cool.
All right. So one thing, like I remember when you first started, like you had us going to the stores and asking to be, where's this product? I'm looking for this product. I remember my girl, I don't even know, like me and Monet literally was going into the grocery stores like, yo.
Actually, I don't. It's kind of hard. Let me see. Let me put it on the charge and maybe that'll work.
Let me see.
All right, say something now.
How's it now?
No, I still can't hear you.
And for everybody who's watching this, can y'all hear me just fine, or am I low on y'all's too? Anybody who's in any of the viewers, is my voice low? Anybody? It's low.
Can y'all hear me? I mean, how?
They said they can hear both, so I'm not. Must be something on your end.
You think I should sign off and come back on?
No. If I end it, I'm gonna have to post it twice. I'm gonna have to post two. I could do that. But so let me try. It's probably something with your phone. Hold on. I'm gonna end it, keep it, then save it, and then I'll start it again. So we just have two videos. Give me one sec.